We're in Utrecht, which is in really the center of the Netherlands, and it's where I work. It's where Pro-C is located. So it was quite unusual for me to attend a conference and really go home with with a lot of actions and ideas, and really a project plan that started rolling, and a partnership that arose from it. So it's quite unique. And what was really good is that there was a lot of discussion going on, so you really heard everyone's opinion, and I really heard a lot from the industry themselves, so that was very inspiring.
Yeah, I think the event was really great for me personally, because I just started with the organization, and I felt like it was a really sort of, genuine sort of open opportunity for people from all different sectors to get together who have a sort of common goal to look at solving fisheries management issues. So I thought it was really good because it was very heavy on fishermen, and I hadn't been at many events where there was such importance placed on the fishermen themselves, and valuing their opinions and the sort of concerns that they had about their fisheries. So I thought that was great, but so it was across the supply chain, so looking at marketing and fish processors and civil society groups like myself, but also a range of fishermen from different sectors who were able to be in a very open environment to talk about similar issues that are facing them on maybe different scales, and I thought that was a very sort of unique sort of placement of the event.
There was a real buzz going on because I think by its nature fishing can be quite an isolating business. People, especially small boat fishermen, they get on their boat, they go out to sea, they come back, eat fish, repeat, and they don't have that much of an opportunity to meet like-minded people, especially like-minded people from elsewhere who are experiencing or may even have solved the same problems as them. So there was a real buzz, really good.
For me, setting up Devon Scallops was great, and I've had a brilliant time doing it. And then to go to an event like that, to sit and listen to some of the presentations, thinking, actually, I've already done this and this and this, so I am on the right track, I am doing the right thing, and it just spurred me on to carry on and grow the business, which we will do. I've never ever been to anything like that, where you see the policymaker right down to the fisherman in the same room. So a fisherman was able to take his problem or his idea direct to a policymaker and others from other countries, so we could all bounce off each other and come up with some ideas.
It is about initiating a training program for UK fishermen, and about sustainability. So a step further than operating a boat and catching fish, but how to manage a sustainable business. So it will be about marine ecology, about fisheries management, about the fish supply chain, about earning a decent living, about different ways of getting your fish from boat to plate, from net to plate, about cooperating in the fish supply chain, cooperating with scientists, with policymakers, just broadening your view actually to become really a successful fisherman in the future as well.
So off the back of what we already did with Devon Scallops, and then with the Fishing into the Future spurring us on, we thought, well, why not try our fish? Fish are our bycatch, so we could make a little bit more than what we do at market, and the product is fresh for the public. I think it gave women especially a bit more of a backbone. So actually, our other halves, they go to sea, they do an amazing job, and it is fantastically hard. I don't know how they do it. But we're at home, we're the ones with the families, we're the ones holding it together. We have the knowledge, and we have, quite often we've had careers before we've had our children and we're at home, and being a fishwife, you are left to your own devices. So you have time to think, time on your hands sometimes. So, get involved, spur them on, and, have some input.
Everything from, Kate, who I think you're going to speak to, inquiring about the possibility of forming a small boats co-op in Brixham, so they can all kind of pool their resources and get economies of scale and do marketing. So right the way from that sort of inquiry, right the way through to kind of looking at the national programme, European programs with, I met Erin from EDF, looking into kind of global catch shares programs around the world, you know, talking to Wes in Canada. That's a relationship that's ongoing. Yeah, all sorts. I mean, it's even led me into, I'm working on a program now with the Smithsonian in the US on a project to deliver a sustainable fishery for the Honduran spiny lobster fishery. So none of which I was expecting when I turned up in Brixham. So there you go.
I've made contact with lots of different people, but Jim, I think, is the one that sort of what he does was exactly what I was after. So having a very brief conversation at the conference, he just looked down at me and said, "I can sort that out." Oh right, okay then. And it kind of went on from there.
John Goodlad, amazing. What an amazing man from Shetland. I am actually going to have to go up to Shetland now because he's such a great guy, and you know, he's so interesting, and the whole thing's so fascinating that I want to go.
What they do up there is fab. Actually, if it's the same chap I'm thinking of, that is. But what they did with their scallop fishery up there and how they regulate it is amazing, and it's run by fishermen.
Yeah. You
know, regulations and the closures and how they make it sustainable is done by fishermen. It's brilliant.
That also in the UK, as in the Netherlands, as in many places in the world, I think a lot of fishermen get training in how to become a good fisherman, so good craftsmanship, and operate the boat safely, the netting, the gear, the fishing and everything, and the processing on board. But then the next step, how to operate a successful business in fishing in the world as it is now, the changing world, society looking over your shoulder, policy, science, fisheries partnerships, etc. You need different skills and competences to make it work.
I love business anyway, and working for yourself, you know, fishermen do it because they go out there and they don't know what they're going to catch, and there is nothing better than coming home knowing you've landed some fish and you're alive, the boat's okay, and you've made some money and you've, you know, supported your family. And I get the same kick out of, you know, creating a business from nothing and growing the business from nothing, and knowing that part of what I do helps Roy at sea, it helps the boat, and, you know, I'm supporting our family too. We forge relationships with scientists, and there's a huge divide between scientists and fishermen, and that was great to talk to 2 or 3 different scientists, marine biologists, you know, who are conservation minded. They work for the conservation societies and things, and you only hear about their policies again in the media, but you don't talk to the people that are actually out there doing the work, and it's fascinating. We're not all out there to work against each other, it's about coming together and working together, and I think that's possible with events like that. Seeing each other face to face makes that difference.
We're at the kind of beginning of a long road, but Fisheries Science Partnership it's demonstrated across the world to be hugely positive in terms of its outputs, in terms of helping narrow that divide between the scientific community and industry. And we're looking at maybe putting together a collection of international best practice examples of where Fisheries Science Partnership has worked really well in the past, and maybe what are some of the similar characteristics of those partnerships, and what we can learn from that in the UK to apply to FSP partnerships going forward. So that's something that a working group that's spun out of the Fishing into the Future event.
I know the European Union really wants more participation from fishermen. You can want that, but then before you can have that, you really need to train fishermen and give them skills and knowledge in order to speak the same language, have communicative skills in order to really participate efficiently in meetings and get their ideas across and stuff like that. So when I really look long term, I hope this type of training will become just baseline training for every fisherman, any fisherman.
It would be great as a participant to see something down the road that said, actually your participation in this has delivered, you know, these various projects and these different initiatives, and it's all working towards something. And I think that would be really valuable. So I just challenge the group to keep supporting the projects that have spun out of this event, to be involved and maybe to provide some sort of overarching vision or framework for participants to kind of continue with the momentum and feel like they can be supported throughout the projects and initiatives that they're involved in.
although they give advice, it would be great that if Fishing into the Future steering committee could provide the same sort of networking after that event. So having some feedback and some contacts, you know, even a list of contacts of the people that attended would be really handy, because you didn't get to see everybody. And maybe some feedback for all the people that attended, so we get to see the feedback from other places in the country or even Europe and America. In order to keep the bond that was formed there keep going, I think they need to keep the event and keep things happening continually, and that should keep us going and form a united front.
I would really like to know if they support the idea in general, if they think it is worthy of being under the Fishing into the Future banner. And I would like to hear their thought upon the funding of the program. I would be really interested in that, because we've got a group together of people who are very enthusiastic of bringing it further and taking steps. Seafish is in, GMRI is in, the ISU is in, ProSea is in. A lot of fishermen are already in the teleconference calls that we're having at the moment. And I would be really interested in hearing what the steering group sees as critical points if you want to get a training going in the UK that is about this, sustainability for fishermen. What are really key issues that we should look at? So be a bit critical.
Yeah, I would love to see more of that event happen. It's the only event that I know of that brings such a wide network of people from the ground upwards, and the overall message of that event was that it's looking into the future. We all know about the problems we've had in the fishing industry and the things that have happened and the current struggles, but it's all about working a way out to see a positive future.
I think it'd be a shame to kind of invest so much into an event, to create it, to support it, to have projects come out of it, but I just think that the benefit for participants to kind of basically understand what other initiatives are going on, I think that could be great and could help sort of, you know, refuel some of the connections that were made at the events, you know, even if they don't have another one, to have a mailing list that they can kind of send updates to the participants, something like that, that could kind of keep us connected somehow. That would be great.
I think as long as people are keep being inspired to really put ideas into actions, like, well, the project we're now initiating and involved in, and also other projects that I know of that are happening after the Fishing into the Future. I think it's really important to have a platform where people sit together and think about the changing world and the sustainable nature of fisheries and what can help to achieve that. Yeah, so I think it's the time is now for that.
It's all about demonstration now, and I think you know, the group, that was fantastic to kind of get the ball rolling, but I think more valuable would be, you know, providing that thread to kind of know that everyone is supported in that way, and to help us reestablish connections where we need to, and keep the ball rolling with it. And then maybe down the road another event, because it was damn fun.
It was a bit of a party time afterwards as well.
We were well taken care of.
So that's why everybody's like raving about it.
We want another one.
Yeah.